The vast silence of space was shattered by a single haunting pulse. At first, the astronomers at the Arecibo Observatory thought it was a glitch, just another anomaly in the endless stream of cosmic noise. But as the signal repeated, a pattern emerged, one that couldn't be explained by any natural phenomenon. Dr. Elena Alvarez, lead researcher at Arecibo, felt her heart race as she pored over the data. "This can't be right," she muttered, her dark eyes wide with disbelief. She turned to her colleague, Dr. James Chen. "James, are you seeing this?" Chen nodded, his face pale in the glow of the computer's screens. "It's artificial, Elena. No doubt about it." Within hours, observatories around the world confirmed the signal. Humanity held its collective breath as governments scrambled to respond. The signal's origin, a point in space just beyond the orbit of Mars. At NASA's Johnson Space Center, Commander Sarah Reeves stood before a hastily assembled team of astronauts, scientists, and military personnel. Her steely gaze swept across the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, in 72 hours, we make history. We're going to meet whoever sent that signal." The next 3 days were a blur of preparations. The experimental ship Horizon, originally designed for a Mars mission, was quickly retrofitted for this unprecedented journey. Its crew, a mix of NASA's finest and top military pilots, trained around the clock. As the Horizon prepared for launch, the world waited. Social media exploded with theories. Religious leaders called for calm. Governments issued reassurances while quietly mobilizing their armed forces. Commander Reeves stood on the launch pad, her helmet tucked under her arm. She looked up at the horizon, its sleek form gleaming in the Florida sunshine. This was humanity's moment, and she felt the weight of it on her shoulders. The countdown began, Reeves and her crew strapped in. As the engines roared to life, she closed her eyes briefly. "Whatever's out there," she thought, "we're ready." The Horizon streaked into the sky, leaving Earth behind. As they approached the coordinates of the signal's origin, tension aboard the ship reached a fever pitch. Lieutenant Michael Torres, the ship's sensors officer, suddenly called out, "Commander, I'm picking up something. It's big." Before Reeves could respond, space itself seemed to ripple. A massive ship, easily 10 times the size of the Horizon, shimmered into view. Its hull was pockmarked with scorch marks and what looked like weapons damage. "My God," whispered Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the mission's xenobiologist. "It's not of human origin." Reeves steadied herself. "Open a channel," she ordered. "All frequencies." For several tense moments, there was no response. Then a voice, oddly melodic yet unmistakably alien, filled the Horizon's bridge. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We come seeking refuge and aid. Our civilization faces extinction." The crew exchanged stunned glances. This was far beyond any first contact scenario they had trained for. The alien voice continued, a note of urgency creeping in. "We are the last survivors of the Arcadian people. Our worlds have fallen to a merciless enemy known as the Vex. They destroy all in their path, and now they turn their gaze to your solar system." Reeves felt a chill run down her spine. "We're willing to offer assistance," she replied cautiously, "but we need more information. Who are these Vex? Why are they attacking you?" There was a pause, then the alien responded, "The Vex are a machine race, devoid of emotion or mercy. They seek to convert all organic life into their own kind. We have fled across half the galaxy, but we can run no further. Earth is our last hope, and now it may be yours as well." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the Horizon. Lieutenant Torres' voice was tight with fear as he reported, "Commander, multiple objects just appeared at the edge of our solar system. They're moving fast, faster than anything we've ever seen." On the main view screen, a swarm of sleek, black ships appeared. They moved with an eerie precision, like a flock of predatory birds. The Arcadian voice crackled over the comm once more. "The Vex have found us. Humans, you must prepare. The battle for your world begins now." Commander Reeves stared at the approaching Armada, her mind racing. In the span of a few minutes, humanity had not only made first contact but found itself on the brink of an interstellar war. She turned to her crew, seeing a mix of fear and determination on their faces. "Send a message to Earth," she ordered. Tell them everything, and let them know we're not backing down." As the Horizon and the Arcadian ship turned to face the oncoming threat, Reeves couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, the day they joined the galactic community. They just never imagined it would be as the last line of defense against an implacable foe. The black ships drew closer, their intentions clear. Reeves gripped her command chair. "All hands, battle stations," she called out, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Let's show these Vex what humans are made of." As the first shots were fired, lighting up the darkness of space, Commander Reeves knew that win or lose, nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had been thrust onto the galactic stage, and their performance in this cosmic drama would determine not just their own fate, but that of countless other species across the stars. The battle for Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, had begun. The news of humanity's sudden thrust into an interstellar war spread across Earth like wildfire. Panic gripped cities worldwide as governments struggled to maintain order. In the span of mere days, humanity had gone from believing they were alone in the universe to facing an existential threat from the stars. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, an emergency session was underway. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered to hear the testimony of Commander Xylara Vex, who had returned to Earth aboard the Horizon to deliver her first-hand account. "Ladies and gentlemen," Reeves began, her voice echoing through the packed chamber, "the threat we face is real and immediate. The Vex are unlike anything we've ever encountered. They are relentless, driven by a single purpose, the eradication or assimilation of all organic life." Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the assembly. Reeves continued, "But we are not without hope. The Arcadians have offered us their knowledge and technology. With their help, we have a chance to defend our world and perhaps turn the tide of this war." As Reeves spoke, holographic images flickered to life, showing the sleek black ships of the Vex Armada and the devastating weapons they wielded. The UN representatives watched in stunned silence as simulations depicted the potential destruction Earth could face. "We cannot afford to waste time with political squabbles or nationalistic pride," Reeves urged. "The Vex do not discriminate. They will destroy us all equally if we don't stand united." In the days that followed, heated debates raged across the globe. Some argued for isolation, believing that involving Earth in an alien war was too great a risk. Others saw no choice but to fight, recognizing that the Vex would come for Earth regardless of their decision. Meanwhile, in a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, a joint human-Arcadian task force was already at work. Dr. Elena Alvarez, the astronomer who first detected the alien signal, found herself working alongside Xylara, the Arcadian chief scientist. "The key to defeating the Vex lies in understanding their neural network," Xylara explained, her silvery skin shimmering under the harsh laboratory lights. "They operate as a hive mind, but this also makes them vulnerable. If we can disrupt their communication, we can cripple their entire fleet." Elena nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "We could adapt our own cyber warfare techniques," she mused. "Combined with your quantum entanglement technology, we might be able to create a virus that could spread through their entire network instantaneously." As scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to upgrade Earth's defenses, military leaders from around the world convened to form a unified Earth Defense Force, EDF. Admiral Y. Chen of the Chinese Navy was appointed as its commander, with Reeves serving as his second-in-command. "Our first priority is to establish a defensive perimeter around Earth," Admiral Chen announced during a global broadcast. "We're retrofitting every spacecraft we have with Arcadian shields and weapons, but we need more. I'm calling on every nation, every corporation, every individual with the skills to contribute. This is humanity's finest hour, or its last. The choice is ours. The response was overwhelming. Aircraft hangars were converted into spacecraft assembly lines. Shipyards that once built ocean-going vessels now constructed orbital defense platforms. The International Space Station was transformed into a command center for Earth's fledgling space fleet. Amid the frantic preparations, not everyone was convinced of the Arcadians' intentions. Senator Amanda Hawkins of the United States led a vocal minority questioning the aliens' true motives. How convenient, she argued in a fiery speech, that these supposed refugees show up just in time to warn us of an impending invasion. How do we know they're not the real threat? Her words struck a chord with many who feared the rapid changes sweeping across the planet. Protests erupted in several cities, demanding that the aliens be expelled from Earth. The tension reached a boiling point when a group of extremists attempted to bomb the Arcadian embassy in London. The attack was thwarted, but it highlighted the fragile nature of the Human-Arcadian Alliance. In response, the Arcadian ambassador, a tall ethereal being named Thaler, addressed the people of Earth directly. "We understand your fear," Thaler said, her voice carrying a hint of sorrow. "Not long ago, we too believed ourselves alone in the universe. When the Vex came, we were unprepared. We lost our homes, our history, our very way of life. We come to you not as conquerors or deceivers, but as fellow survivors. Earth is our last hope, and we are yours." Thaler's words, broadcast globally, had a profound impact. The tide of public opinion began to shift as people realized the magnitude of the threat they faced. As Earth's first space battle group prepared to launch, a sense of unity swept across the planet. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. For the first time in history, humanity was truly working as one. Commander Reeves stood on the bridge of the EDF flagship, christened the Defiant. Around her, a crew composed of the best pilots and officers from a dozen different countries worked in perfect harmony. Through the viewscreen, she could see hundreds of ships, a mix of retrofitted human vessels and sleek Arcadian designs, forming up in Earth orbit. Admiral Chen's voice came through the comm system. "All ships report in." One by one, the captains of Earth's fleet sounded off. Americans, Russians, Chinese, Indians, Europeans, Africans, all ready to defend their home. As the fleet prepared to make its first faster-than-light jump to confront the approaching Vex Armada, Reeves felt a mix of pride and apprehension. They were about to make history, if they survived long enough to write it. "All hands," she called out, her voice steady and determined. "This is it. Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every free species in the galaxy. Let's show these Vex what happens when they pick a fight with humanity." The Defiant's engines hummed to life, and in a flash of light, Earth's first interstellar battle group vanished into the depths of space. Behind them, a planet held its breath, united in hope and fear as they awaited news of humanity's first engagement in a war that would determine the fate of galaxies. As the fleet disappeared from view, Dr. Alvarez and Xylara watched from the lunar base that now served as Earth's primary research facility. "Do you think we're ready?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Xyara's multifaceted eyes gleamed with an emotion Elena couldn't quite read. "Ready or not," the Arcadian replied, "the real test begins now. But if there's one thing I've learned about humans in our short time together, it's that you have a remarkable capacity for achieving the impossible." With those words hanging in the air, they turned back to their work. The battle for Earth's future raged in the stars above, but the war might well be won or lost in laboratories like theirs. As humanity faced its greatest challenge, the strength of their new alliance would be tested in fire and blood among the stars. The vast emptiness of space erupted into chaos as Earth's fleet engaged the Vex for the first time. The Defiant shuddered under the impact of enemy fire, its newly installed Arcadian shields flickering but holding. Commander Sarah Reeves gripped her command chair, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Vex ships moved with terrifying precision, their black holes absorbing weapon fire like cosmic predators. Evasive maneuvers, Reeves barked. Concentrate fire on the lead ship. Earth's vessels, a hodgepodge of retrofitted human craft and Arcadian designs, darted between the looming Vex cruisers. Beams of energy crisscrossed the void, punctuated by the silent explosions of destroyed ships on both sides. Lieutenant Raj Patel, the Defiant's tactical officer, called out, "Commander, our weapons are barely scratching their hulls." Reeves gritted her teeth. The Arcadians had warned them about the Vex's advanced technology, but experiencing it firsthand was sobering. "Keep firing," she ordered. "We need to buy time for the second phase of the plan." As the battle raged, a smaller, stealthier ship slipped past the Vex's outer defenses. On board, Dr. Elena Alvarez and Zero worked feverishly to deploy their secret weapon, a quantum virus designed to disrupt the Vex's hive mind. "We're in position," Elena reported, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. "Initiating viral upload, now." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, almost imperceptibly, the Vex ships began to falter. Their movements became erratic, their firing patterns disjointed. Back on the Defiant, Reeves saw her opportunity. "All ships, this is Commander Reeves. The virus is working. Concentrate all fire on the flagship." Earth's fleet surged forward, unleashing a barrage of missiles and energy weapons. The Vex flagship, a behemoth easily 10 times the size of the Defiant, shuddered under the assault. Cracks appeared in its obsidian hull, spreading like a web of light. With a silent flash that lit up the battlefield, the Vex flagship exploded. A cheer went up across the human fleet, quickly silenced as the remaining Vex ships began a hasty retreat. "We did it," Reeves breathed, scarcely believing their victory. But as the adrenaline of battle faded, the reality of their situation set in. The skirmish had cost them dearly. Nearly a third of Earth's fleet was destroyed or badly damaged. As the surviving ships limped back to Earth, carrying their wounded and their dead, humanity faced a stark truth. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in its history. The entire planet became a war machine dedicated to the singular purpose of survival against the Vex threat. Massive orbital shipyards sprung up, churning out new vessels at an unprecedented rate. On the ground, factories worked around the clock, producing everything from personal armor to city-sized shield generators. In laboratories across the globe, human and Arcadian scientists collaborated on pushing the boundaries of technology. Quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and energy weapons that were once the stuff of science fiction became reality. Admiral Chen stood before a holographic display of the solar system, surrounded by military and civilian leaders from around the world. "The Vex will return," he said gravely. "And next time they'll come in force. We need to be ready." The plan they devised was audacious. Earth would not merely defend, they would take the fight to the enemy. A massive fleet, unlike anything humanity had ever built, would push into Vex-controlled space. As the shipyards worked tirelessly, a new vessel took shape, the Nemesis. Nearly a kilometer long, it represented the pinnacle of human Arcadian engineering. This would be the flagship of humanity's counterattack. Commander Reeves walked through the corridors of the Nemesis, marveling at the fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology. Plasma conduits pulsed alongside hardened computer cores. The bridge was a marvel of holographic interfaces and neural links. "It's incredible," she murmured to Admiral Chen, who nodded in agreement. "It needs to be," he replied. "We're betting everything on this ship and this mission." As the day of launch approached, a somber mood fell over Earth. Everyone understood the stakes. Victory meant survival, defeat meant extinction. In a ceremony broadcast to every corner of the globe, the crew of the Nemesis prepared to embark on their mission. Families said goodbye to loved ones, not knowing if they'd ever see them again. Dr. Alvarez, now the chief science officer of the Nemesis, hugged her parents tightly. "I'll come back," she promised, her voice thick with emotion. Xylara, standing nearby, placed a comforting hand on Elena's shoulder. The Arcadian's eyes shimmered with an emotion that seemed almost human. "We all will," she said softly. As the crew boarded, crowds gathered to watch the launch. The Nemesis rose majestically from its orbital dock, its massive engines flaring to life. Smaller ships, fighters, support vessels, and troop carriers fell into formation around it. On the bridge, Reese took her place in the command chair. She looked around at her crew, human and Arcadian working side by side. "All stations report in," she ordered. One by one, each section of the ship confirmed their readiness. Reese took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "Helmsman, set course for Vex space. Engage when ready." The Nemesis's faster-than-light drive hummed to life. In a flash of light that outshone the sun, Earth's mightiest ship and its escort fleet vanished into the depths of space. Left behind, the people of Earth could only wait and hope. In every home, every city, prayers were offered to 100 different gods for the safe return of their heroes. Admiral Chen watched from Earth's orbital command center as the last traces of the fleet's energy signature faded from their sensors. "And so it begins," he murmured. Across the galaxy, on worlds unknown to humanity, other races watched and waited. Some, long oppressed by the Vex, dared to hope that these newcomers might turn the tide. Others, more cynical, prepared for the fall of yet another civilization to the relentless machine horde. But in the void between stars, aboard the Nemesis and its accompanying ships, humanity steeled itself for the greatest fight in its history. They carried with them not just the hopes of Earth, but the last desperate chance for freedom in a galaxy under siege. As the Nemesis plunged deeper into uncharted space, Commander Reeves allowed herself a small smile. Whatever lay ahead, humanity would face it as they always had, with courage, ingenuity, and an unwavering determination to survive. The Black Armada, Earth's last and greatest hope, had risen. The true test of humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. The Nemesis and its fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in a system deep within Vex-controlled space. The starscape before them was alien and foreboding, dominated by a massive red giant star nearing the end of its life. Commander Sarah Rees leaned forward in her command chair, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. "Status report," she ordered, her voice tight with tension. Lieutenant Petel's fingers danced over his console. "No immediate signs of Vex activity, Commander. But there's something strange about the third planet. It's giving off energy readings unlike anything we've seen before." Dr. Elena Alvarez frowned as she studied the data. "It looks like some kind of massive energy construct," she mused. "Could be a power source, or a trap," Xylara finished, her multifaceted eyes narrowing. Reese nodded grimly. "Either way, we need to investigate. Prepare a stealth team for Planetfall. I want eyes on whatever that thing is." Hours later, Reese stood in the Nemesis's briefing room, surrounded by holographic images transmitted from the surface team. What they saw defied belief. The entire planet had been transformed into a colossal machine. Vast structures of black metal stretched from pole to pole, pulsing with an eerie blue energy. At the heart of it all stood a towering spire that seemed to pierce the very sky. "It's a nexus," Xylara explained, her voice filled with awe and fear. "The Arcadians had legends of such places, but we never found one. It's the central hub of the Vex network in this sector of the galaxy." Elena's eyes widened as she realized the implications. If we could shut it down, we could cripple Vex operations across hundreds of light years, Reeves finished. She turned to Admiral Chen's holographic image. "Sir, requesting permission to launch an all-out assault on the Nexus." Chen's face was grim. "Granted, Commander. But be warned, the moment we strike, we'll have the full might of the Vex bearing down on us. Make it count." The next few hours were a blur of activity as the fleet prepared for battle. Fighters were fueled and armed, troops readied for planetfall, and the Nemesis itself was primed for the fight of its life. As the crew made their final preparations, Reeves addressed them over the ship's comm system. Men and women of Earth, and our Arcadian allies, the moment we've trained for is upon us. Today, we strike at the heart of our enemy. Today, we prove that humanity will not go quietly into the night. Whatever happens, know that our actions here will echo across the stars. For Earth, for freedom, let's show these machines what we're made of. A cheer went up throughout the ship, a sound of defiance against the implacable foe they faced. The battle began with a fury that seemed to shake the very fabric of space. The Nemesis led the charge, its advanced weapons tearing through the hastily assembled Vex defenses. Swarms of Earth fighters engaged Vex interceptors in a deadly dance among the stars. On the planet's surface, Drot ships deployed teams of human and Arcadian commandos. They fought their way through hordes of Vex ground units, pushing towards the central spire. Back on the Nemesis, Reeves coordinated the assault with a calm born of years of training and the crucible of their earlier battles. "Concentrate fire on their command ships," she ordered. "Don't let them regroup." For a time, it seemed as though the audacity of the attack had caught the Vex off guard. Earth's forces pressed their advantage, driving deeper into enemy territory. But the tide began to turn as more Vex ships poured into the system. The mechanized army seemed endless, each destroyed ship replaced by two more. "We can't keep this up forever," Petel warned, his voice strained as he reported mounting casualties. Reeves gritted her teeth, knowing he was right. They needed a game-changer, and fast. It came from an unexpected source. Dr. Alvarez, who had been feverishly analyzing data from the planet, suddenly exclaimed, "I've got it. The Nexus. It's not just a hub, it's a power source. If we can overload it, we can take out the entire Vex fleet in one blow." Xylara finished, her eyes shining with excitement. Reeves didn't hesitate. "Do it," she commanded. What followed was a desperate race against time. While the fleet fought a holding action in space, Elena and Xylara worked to rewrite the Nemesis's main weapon systems on the fly. They would have one shot at this, one chance to turn the tide of not just this battle, but potentially the entire war. As the modifications were completed, Reeves ordered all Earth forces to fall back. The Vex, sensing victory, pressed forward, directly into the trap. "All power to the main gun," Reeves ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "Fire when ready." The Nemesis shuddered as it unleashed a beam of energy unlike anything ever seen before. It struck the planet's surface, directly at the base of the central spire. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the world exploded. A shockwave of blue-white energy erupted from the planet, expanding outward at impossible speed. It washed over the Vex fleet, and ship after ship simply winked out of existence. On the Nemesis, alarms blared as the energy wave approached. "Brace for impact," Reeves shouted. The ship shook violently as the wave passed through it. For a terrifying moment, every system went dark. Then, slowly, they flickered back to life. As the crew of the Nemesis regained their bearings, they looked out upon a transformed battlefield. Where once there had been a planet and a Vex armada, now there was only a slowly dispersing cloud of debris. Cheers erupted across the fleet as the magnitude of their victory sank in. They had done it. They had struck a crippling blow against a seemingly invincible Vex. But amid the celebration, Reeves felt a nagging concern. They had won the battle, yes, but at what cost? And how would the Vex respond to this devastating defeat? As the Earth fleet regrouped and began the long journey home, Reeves knew that this was only the beginning. They had proven that humanity could stand against the Vex and win, but the war was far from over. The Nemesis turned its bow towards Earth, carrying with a message of hope and a warning of the challenges yet to come. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger, more dangerous universe, and the galaxy would never be the same. The return of the Nemesis to Earth was met with jubilant celebration. Humanity had scored its first major victory against the Vex, and hope surged through the population like an electric current. But for those in command, the euphoria was tempered by the knowledge that the war was far from over. In the weeks that followed, as Earth's fleet underwent repairs and the data from the Nexus destruction was analyzed, a sobering reality set in. The Vex, though dealt a significant blow, were far from defeated. Intelligence gathered from the battle revealed that there were other Nexus points scattered throughout the galaxy. In a high-security briefing room deep beneath Geneva, Commander Reeves stood before the United Earth Council, her face grim as she delivered her report. "The destruction of the Nexus has given us a critical advantage," she explained, gesturing to a holographic map of known Vex territory. "Their communications and supply lines in this sector are in disarray, but our victory has also made us a priority target. The Vex will not underestimate us again." Admiral Chen nodded solemnly. "What do you propose, Commander?" Reeves took a deep breath. "A coordinated strike against all known Nexus points, simultaneously." A murmur ran through the assembled leaders. It was an audacious plan, perhaps even a desperate one. Dr. Alvarez stepped forward, her eyes bright with determination. "We've developed a way to detect the unique energy signature of the Nexus points. With the Arcadians' help, we can pinpoint their locations across the galaxy." Xylara, standing beside her, added, "And we believe we can replicate the weapon that destroyed the first Nexus. Every ship in the fleet can be equipped with it." The council chamber erupted into debate. The plan was risky. It would leave Earth vulnerable, committing almost their entire fleet to the offensive. But the potential reward was impossible to ignore, a chance to end the Vex threat once and for all. After hours of deliberation, the decision was made. Operation Lightbringer, as it was dubbed, would commence in 1 month's time. The following weeks saw a flurry of activity unlike anything in Earth's history. Every available ship was outfitted with the new Nexus Buster weapon. Volunteers from every nation signed up in droves, ready to take the fight to the enemy. On the day of launch, cities across the globe fell silent as humanity held its collective breath. The fleet that rose from Earth's orbit was a sight to behold. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, all united in purpose. Aboard the Nemesis, Commander Reeves stood on the bridge, surveying her crew. Humans and Arcadians worked side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of their common goal. "All ships report ready," Commander Lieutenant Patel announced. Reeves nodded, her voice steady as she gave the order. "Initiate jump sequence. Take us to war." In a flash of light, Earth's fleet vanished, scattered to targets across the galaxy. The battles that followed would be remembered for generations. At each Nexus point, Earth's forces faced ferocious resistance. The Vex, finally recognizing the true threat humanity posed, fought with a desperation that made them more dangerous than ever. On a desert world orbiting a dying star, the Nemesis led the charge against a Nexus guarded by a Vex fleet twice their size. Reeves watched as ship after ship winked out of existence on her tactical display, each loss a stab to her heart. "We're not going to make it through their lines," Patel warned, his voice strained. But Reeves had one last card to play. "Activate the Trojan horse," she commanded. Deep within the Nemesis, a specially designed AI core sprang to life. Created by Dr. Alvarez and infused with Arcadian technology, it was humanity's ultimate weapon against the Vex, a virtual virus designed to invade and subvert their network. As the AI was unleashed, the effect was immediate and startling. Vex ships began to turn on each other, their coordinated defense falling into chaos. "Now," Reeves shouted, "all ships, concentrate fire on the Nexus." The combined firepower of Earth's fleet lanced out, striking the heart of the Vex stronghold. In a blinding flash, another Nexus fell. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Earth's forces, though outnumbered and outgunned, fought with a tenacity that seemed to defy the odds. The Arcadian refugees, inspired by humanity's courage, revealed depths of heroism they had thought lost. But victory came at a terrible cost. As the final nexus fell, nearly half of Earth's fleet had been destroyed. The survivors, battle-scarred and weary, limped back to rally points, uncertain of their success. It was only as the dust settled that the true magnitude of their achievement became clear. The Vex, for the first time in eons, were in full retreat, their hive mind shattered by the loss of the nexus points and infected by humanity's A virus, was collapsing. As news of the victory spread, celebrations erupted across Earth and on every world that had lived under the shadow of Vex oppression. Humanity, in one stunning campaign, had broken the back of an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. But aboard the Nemesis, as it made its long journey home, the mood was one of somber reflection. Commander Reeves stood in the ship's memorial hall, reading the names of those who had given their lives in the conflict. Dr. Alvarez approached quietly, standing beside her. "We did it, Sarah," she said softly. "We won." Reeves nodded, her eyes never leaving the memorial wall. "But at what cost, Elena? And what happens now?" As if in answer to her question, a transmission came through from Earth. Admiral Chen's holographic image appeared before them, his face a mix of joy and apprehension. "Commander, Doctor," he greeted them. "Congratulations on your victory. But I'm afraid our work is not yet done. We're receiving transmissions from all over the galaxy. It seems that in defeating the Vex, we've attracted the attention of the rest of the universe." Reeves and Alvarez exchanged a look of wonder and trepidation. They had won the war, but as they would soon discover, the real challenge of humanity's place in the cosmos was only just beginning. Commander Sarah Reeves, now hailed as the hero of the Vex War, stood before the United Earth Council once again. This time, however, she was joined by representatives from a dozen alien species. Their diverse forms a vivid reminder of humanity's new reality. "Ladies and gentlemen of the Council, honored guests," Reeves began, her voice carrying the weight of recent events. "We stand at a crossroads. In defeating the Vex, we have not only secured our own survival, but fundamentally altered the balance of power in the galaxy." A murmur ran through the assembled dignitaries as holographic displays flickered to life, showing the known expanse of the galaxy. Regions once dominated by the Vex now pulsed with activity as long-suppressed civilizations emerged from hiding. Dr. Elena Alvarez stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement. The destruction of the Vex network has opened up vast tracts of space for exploration and colonization. But more importantly, it's given us access to technologies and knowledge beyond our wildest dreams. Xylara, the Arcadian scientist who had become a symbol of human-alien cooperation, added her voice. "Many worlds that fell to the Vex eons ago are now ripe for restoration. There is an opportunity here not just for humanity, but for all sentient species to work together in ways never before possible." The council chamber erupted into discussion, with human and alien delegates alike debating the path forward. Some advocated for rapid expansion, arguing that humanity needed to secure its position while it had the advantage. Others urged caution, warning of the dangers of overextension and the potential for conflict with other rising powers. Admiral Chen, his face lined with the stress of recent years, but his eyes clear and determined, raised his hand for silence. "We have fought and bled to secure our place among the stars," he said, his voice carrying across the chamber. "But let us not forget the lessons of our own history. Great power brings great responsibility." He turned to address the alien representatives directly. "To our new allies and neighbors in this vast cosmos, we extend a hand in friendship. Earth stands ready to join the galactic community not as conquerors, but as partners in building a better future for all sentient life." The words seemed to resonate with many present, and a sense of cautious optimism filled the air. In the days that followed, Earth signed its first interstellar treaties, establishing diplomatic relations with civilizations whose names humans were just learning to pronounce. But amid the hope and excitement, challenges loomed. Reports began to filter in of opportunistic warlords and pirates taking advantage of the power vacuum left by the Vex. Some worlds, long under machine control, struggled with the concept of self-governance. On a space station orbiting Jupiter, now serving as Earth's primary shipyard, Commander Rees walked alongside Dr. Alvarez, surveying the construction of a new class of vessels designed for deep space exploration. "Do you ever wonder if we did the right thing?" Reeves asked, her voice low. "In destroying the Vex, we've opened up a Pandora's box of possibilities, good and bad." Elena smiled, placing a hand on her friend's shoulder. "That's always been humanity's gift and curse, hasn't it? The ability to shape our destiny, for better or worse. But look at what we've achieved, Sarah. We've given hope to countless species, opened up new frontiers of science and exploration. Yes, there will be challenges, but isn't that what makes life worth living?" As if to underscore her point, a group of young cadets, human and alien alike, marched past, their faces bright with purpose. They were the first class of the newly formed Galactic Peace Corps, dedicated to providing aid and support to worlds recovering from Vex occupation. Reeves felt a smile tugging at her lips. "I suppose you're right. We can't predict the future, but we can work to shape it." Months turned into years, and humanity's influence spread across the stars. Earth became a hub of interstellar commerce and diplomacy, its cities transforming to accommodate visitors from 100 worlds. The technology salvaged from the Vex War sparked a new age of innovation, with breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and environmental restoration. But perhaps the most profound change was in humanity itself. The perspective gained from their cosmic adventure had altered the very fabric of human society. Old divisions based on race, nationality, or creed seemed petty in the face of the vast and varied life that filled the galaxy. On the 10th anniversary of the Vex defeat, a grand ceremony was held in the newly constructed Hall of Galaxies in Geneva. Representatives from every known sentient species gathered to commemorate the event that had changed the course of galactic history. As Commander Reeves, now Admiral Reeves, took the stage to deliver the keynote address, she looked out over the assembled crowd. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder, or tentacle, or appendage, with beings of all shapes and sizes, united in their shared journey of cosmic discovery. A decade ago, Reeves began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast hall. Humanity looked to the stars and saw only darkness and threat. Today, we see opportunity, friendship, and endless possibilities. We have faced our greatest fears and emerged stronger. We have learned that our differences, be they between humans or between species, are not barriers, but bridges to greater understanding. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the audience. The road ahead is long and undoubtedly filled with challenges we cannot yet imagine, but we do not walk it alone. Together, united in our diversity, there is no obstacle we cannot overcome, no frontier we cannot explore. As applause filled the hall, Reeves felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity had taken its first stumbling steps into a larger universe, and though the journey ahead was uncertain, the spirit of adventure and cooperation that had brought them this far would light the way. In defeating the Vex, humanity had not just saved itself, it had helped forge a new galactic community. And in doing so, it had finally found its place among the stars. The challenge of humanity's place in the cosmos was only just beginning.